Hey, how you doing? So today I'm going to tell you my story about my run-in with Jerry Seinfeld. A couple years ago, I live on Long Island. I was going into Manhattan by train, and it was for one of the Jewish holidays. And when I go in by train, which I very rarely do, you have to switch trains, to get to Penn Station. So I switch, and I get on the next train, and the next train there were no seats, so you had to stand in between the cars, which is a big area. It's not really inconvenient. You just have to stand up. So I'm standing in the corner, and there are these two girls like right in front of me. They looked, I don't know, about maybe 10, 12 years old, and they're both wearing white dresses. And I'm carrying a bottle of wine, because it's a Jewish holiday. I'm going to visit some relatives. And what do? When you're Jewish and you're going in for the Jewish holiday, in New York, you look to see is there anyone else doing the same thing. So I'm looking around, and there's maybe, I would say, including me, maybe there were about a dozen people in that area. And everyone's looking at their phones, and no one's really paying attention to what's going on. And everyone, except for one person, clearly, doesn't look Jewish at all, And I'm looking at this one guy, and he's, he can be Italian or Jewish, but he looks, yeah, definitely, like a prospect. And so I start hearing him talking, and, I'm thinking, wow, that sounds like Seinfeld. And he's talking with these two girls, and and then there was a Spanish guy in front of me in his 20s, and his girlfriend, and he was the only one who was kind of aware of what was going on. He says to his girlfriend, that looks like Seinfeld. So I didn't have my phone with me, so he looks on his phone, and it seemed like him. It sounded like him. He wasn't getting any phone calls, neither were the girls. He obviously had his phone turned off. The only thing that he said that was funny is which I didn't really hear what he said about it, but he was telling, I think it was his daughter and his daughter's friend, he was trying to describe what a prostitute is. Um, and he didn't look at anyone in the eye except maybe after, I would estimate I was standing, about 5 feet from him, and I would estimate this probably lasted maybe about 40 minutes. And there was one point where all of a sudden he started staring right at me because he knew that I was the only one who knew who he was. And, and I was thinking, should I go up to him? Because I know someone that he knows. And I was thinking, should I go up to him and try to talk to him? But then I got scared because, he's a really high-profile person. And, what happens if there's like a stampede or something and I don't want to get blamed? And, he was trying to enjoy his, I'm sure he doesn't do that very often. He has tons of Porsches. So, so anyway, this went on. And then when we got to Penn Station, him and the two girls, who I'm assuming for various reasons that it was his daughter and his daughter's friend, darted out real quick, and that was it. So, when I told the people, anyone I told, I don't know if they really believed me that, standing next to Jerry Seinfeld in the train, and when I came home, I told a couple people. I think most people didn't believe me, figured, it wasn't true. And I emailed someone that I know who's also a comedian who would know him, and I didn't get an answer for actually a couple months, and then I got an answer that indeed it was him. I'm not really sure if they really knew if it was him or not, but it was. I'm for various reasons. I'm not going to mention a couple of things, but I'm pretty sure that was him. So. It's really kind of I guess Seinfeld looks so generically New York that he can get away with walking in a crowd and no one knows who he is. He looks kind of that generic Jewish or Italian type look. and he just doesn't, really stand out. And I guess he can get away with it. So anyway, that's my true Jerry Seinfeld story.